Okay, so I wanted to do another video about prostitution to sort of counter some of the arguments that I got after I did my last video talking about how I believe that prostitution should be legalized, at least for prostitutes themselves. Also, I wanted to dispel some of the negative stereotypes about prostitutes, and also wanted to talk about why I think those stereotypes exist. So, one stereotype I want to try to counter is that prostitutes don't respect themselves, and therefore no one else should respect them either. I think that whoever would make a statement like that wouldn't have any respect for prostitutes, and therefore just assumes that any woman that would do that must not respect herself. But I don't think that that's true. There certainly are some prostitutes, of course, that don't respect themselves, but I think that you could say that about any group in society, regardless of their profession. I don't understand why prostitutes are singled out for that charge. And the ironic thing about it, I guess, would be that that sort of stigmatization. I mean, you're saying that you're against prostitution, but by stigmatizing prostitutes in that way, really you were just increasing the likelihood that they're never going to be able to get out of it, because they're already looked at by society as ruined women. You know, maybe they have criminal records, which is, you know, a hard thing to shake off too. So, it just really bothers me when people say stuff like that, because they're, you know, they seem like they're trying to point out a problem, but really they're just pointing out their contribution to a problem that is different from the one that they're trying to speak about. Another unbelievable thing that people will say about prostitutes, which really shows the level to which they are dehumanized in the minds of some people, they will basically say that women who are prostitutes can't be raped. Just because a woman chooses to sell her body, or to sell her time, or to sell her sexual services, however you want to think about it, just because she chooses to do that does not mean that she doesn't have a will of her own. It doesn't mean that she wants to just indiscriminately have sex with whomever comes along, whoever, you know, wants to take her. And I just cannot even believe that people would have the nerve to make that kind of a statement. It really, when people talk about how prostitutes are morally bankrupt and sexually perverted, and then they want to say something like that, I think it shows that they're projecting their own sexual perversion and their own lack of morality onto other people. You know, because how could you ever make that kind of justification for rape? I mean, there is no justification for rape, and anybody that would make that kind of statement is just disgusting. It's very reminiscent to me of people that will make similar statements about gay men, that they're unrapeable, or, you know, that when they're raped they deserve it, or somehow that they asked for it. It's just a disgusting mentality. And anyway, I wanted to call people out on it, because I just can't believe that people would think that way. Also, one of the weirder things that someone said to me when arguing basically for continued criminalization of prostitution, someone said that women invented prostitution, I don't see how anybody could possibly know that, considering that whomever did that, I mean, it happened thousands and thousands of years ago, and how could anyone ever know that or think that they know that? And then, too, if you look at prostitution around the world and how a very significant portion of prostitutes are basically held in sexual slavery, especially if you're talking about internationally, but in the United States as well, that happens too. In situations where women are held in sexual slavery, chances are that it is a man who put her there, a man who's keeping her there, a man who is profiting off of her being there, and a man who is providing financial incentive for her enslavement. So, I don't know, I just wanted to point out that it's not, you know, uniquely some sort of female problem, but, you know, that if men want to complain about the horrors of prostitution, they really need to start calling out other men more than picking on women, in my opinion. And one of the last things I wanted to say was pointing out the hypocrisy of singling out prostitutes as being morally bankrupt or doing harm to society. When you have people that are making money off of, you know, illegal immigrant labor, not paying people their wages, pharmaceutical companies, you know, basically poisoning our bodies and our water. We have arms dealers making, you know, billions of dollars from killing other people. You know, it really seems strange to single out prostitutes as being some great source of moral degradation. I mean, seriously, what world do you live in if, you know, that's all you have to complain about? I think that it really is an indication of the level of sexual repression that we deal with in society, and I think that it is a useful political tool for religions and for government, because, like, the whole gay marriage debate was just a big distraction. Not that it's not an important issue. I personally think that, you know, gay people should have the same rights as heterosexuals when it comes to marriage. But that we would get, you know, still so wound up about that issue, you know, right before we start all these imperialist wars overseas, and just people really need to start focusing on who's really their enemy, and stop looking for boogeymen where there are none. So anyway, that's what I want to say. Thanks, and have a great day.